So, welcome to episode 2 of Mandy and Steve's journey on buying a property in Spain. Now, this is going to be the 4th week since they put an offer down on the property. And what we're doing, don't forget guys, this is just a guide. As I always say in other videos, always seek legal advice when you're buying property because your money's involved and you could get stung if it's not done properly. But we're following how Mandy and Steve are doing theirs. And the first episode was more about a bit about Mandy and Steve, so please watch that video as well. They sold their property in the UK. They've rented here since July of this year. They've gone out, they found the property, but we're going to go over a couple of things during this video because I did miss out a bit about how they got their NIE, and also what else I forget about. We didn't really talk about the estate agent, so we'll talk about that as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you've got any questions, please put them below the video. I will mention those in the next video. So I've got a couple in this one already. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, just a quick sec. For those people that are after the t-shirt, especially the Expat and Mazarron subscribers t-shirt, I'll bring on my model now.
Good evening.
This will be the t-shirt that you can get, guys. Now, if you want a t-shirt, if you look below the video, in the description, there'll be a link there. I'm off again. See ya. Well, as I said in the intro, Steve and Mandy have been here since July, but they found their property 4 weeks ago. They made the offer, and we're going through the process of buying the property. But just want to go over a recap what we did on the first episode. We sort of skipped over the NIE. So I thought what we'd try and do first is to speak about the NIE, where you went, because that's interesting, because when I had my NIE, I went to the notary, but you two didn't, did you? So he wants to speak first then.
Me.
Steve's going to speak first.
Yeah, no, we don't know what to say now.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, go on then. Because you went somewhere completely different, the immigration place.
Yes, we had to go to the immigration place, which is based in Murcia, which is near the university. So we used the services of a lady that helped us apply for the NIE. Because we don't speak Spanish, we found it easier to get someone to help us. So we met her on Camposol and she took us up to the immigration centre, and then literally in the queue, in and out in about 10 minutes. So it was very quick in the
I this is the place where you would go to get your residency from as well. And what did you have to take to get your NIE?
We had to have our passports, copy of our passport. We'd already filled in the form, so they give you an application form. They need a copy of your passport. They need all the rental agreement that we had so that we're actually residing in Spain at the moment. So we had our rental agreement. We had to give details of our parents' names and dates of birth. Even if they was deceased, we still had to give them the details. Our phone numbers, and that was it really. And
obviously the lady that came with you was the translator as well.
Yeah, she was the translator, so she went in and she came in with you and sat you down, and she left, and they just looked at your paperwork, stamped it, and then we had to then sort of leave. But me and Steve, we went in separately. You don't go in as a couple, you go in as a separate person, and you get your own A4 piece of paper with the official stamp on it.
And that, I take it, was all included in the price? Yeah,
everything was included in the one price that we had to pay. Okay,
so hopefully we've answered the NIE question. What we're doing now, I've got a lady, Bridget Jackson. She said that we sort of skipped a few things up, and it's quite difficult to, when you're doing these sort of things, know what to ask. And anyway, I'm going to go through these quick questions and I'll tell you guys. The first question was, did they get a house inspection?
No, we didn't get a house inspection. We've bought a property that has been standing now for over 20 years. And it's also earthquake proof. I've had a look around the area. The property hasn't had any work done to it for a number of years. As in, like, hasn't been painted There is work to be done, but no, it doesn't to me look like there's any structural work that needs to be done. I looked around the surrounding area, and everything looks fine to me. So I didn't feel that I needed to have a survey done.
No, I mean it's optional. You haven't got to have an inspection done.
No, I would think in some circumstances there is a need to have a survey done, but in our situation we didn't. It wasn't something we had to have done.
Second question: did they seek legal support or transcription of contract?
Yeah, we got solicitor involved as soon as we put a deposit down on the property. And the deposit was for holding the property and taking it off the market with the estate agent. So then we went down to the solicitors, and the solicitor was recommended to us because we didn't know, one solicitor from the other really, because I say not been in Spain for long. But I think it's always best to go with someone that's been used by other people. So that's what we did. So we've got solicitors involved, and they're going through all the paperwork from there. So is there anything you want to add, Mandy?
No. But we did get a copy of the contract as we've had to sign some paperwork, and the paperwork they've sent us is in Spanish, but under each paragraph there is the English translation. So we had to read through obviously before we signed. So it was all translated by the solicitor before we signed anything.
Number 3, what about the title insurance? Was financing involved?
Right, we didn't need to have a mortgage for the property. Like in the UK, sometimes you'll need a mortgage. So I know in the UK, if you're having a mortgage, you have to have indemnity insurance, like building insurance. So you can't get a mortgage without having that in place. But because we didn't have to have a mortgage on the new property, we didn't need building or indemnity insurance. So we haven't got that.
Number 4, it's a word that I can't even pronounce. So I know these guys, we did go through these questions before we did this, guys, but anyway, what it is, how was it like dealing with the estate agent, and also was it possible to do a deal? That's what I want to say.
Okay, with the estate agent, when we decided to put an offer in, we had a negotiation with the estate agent. We asked the estate agent if there was any room for movement on the asking price, and the estate agent said yes. And then we put an offer in, and he said he would put it to the owner and would get back to us within a few hours, which he did. So and the offer was accepted.
They accepted the first offer that we made.
And dealing with the estate agent, I mean, you didn't just deal with one estate agent. I know on this property you did, but you had previous estate agents.
We actually went round with 4 separate estate agents on Camposol. We looked at various properties, probably between 15 and 20. We looked at quite a few. So we backed 4 or 5 estate agents. And I must say, all the estate agents on Camposol were brilliant. We never had any of the hard sell. They was quite happy to show us more than one property. I think one day we went out with an estate agent and looked at 6 properties. Another day was 7 properties. And then one estate agent where they looked at 1 property. But there was no hard sell. There was no like, if you don't put an offer in, you're going to lose it. This one's best for you. I mean, some of the estate agents were very open and honest as they actually said, I don't actually think this property is what you're looking for, but I'll show you anyway, because you never know. But they've all been really brilliant, and the estate agent we're dealing with is great.
Right, number 5, we missed out this question really, but I'm going to say it anyway. Maybe showing a glimpse of the house they bought. Well, we thought this was a bit too personal. I don't think it's fair on the seller that we're going around their house. This is not like a TV program, guys. And we thought we'd just keep it it was a bit too personal. So obviously once Steve and Mandy moved in, we can see the property then, but at the moment we're not going to see what the property looks like yet. But I can assure you it's a lovely place. Because I'm speaking to them still. They won't go into that one.
No, we won't go into that one.
No. Number 6, how much was your estate agent fees and other costs? I think what she's referring to is you had to put a deposit down.
Yeah, we had to put a deposit down with the estate agent to actually hold the property, take it off the market. And then when we got to the solicitor, we have to pay 10% on the property, and what we paid to the what we paid to the estate agent came off the 10% deposit. So, for example, if the deposit was say £500 and we paid £100 already to the estate agent then would forward the £100 to the solicitor to make up the £500. So.
And this is something else we discussed before we made this interview. This will differ from region to region in Spain, because I get quite a few people saying, well, we had to put 5,000 down as a deposit, and other places at 3,000. So it does differ, guys, wherever you are in Spain. So don't take everything to heart. Right, the last one, number 7. Was there any special circumstances they had to deal with to do with COVID-19? Is movement still possible? Need special permission to enter the country? Well, something else we did mention, maybe you didn't watch the complete episode 1, because they're already here in Spain, they'll be renting, and this is what a lot of people say if you're thinking about buying property in Spain, is rent first, make sure that you're happy with the area before you even start thinking this is the place where you'll live. I don't need these guys to answer this really, because they didn't need, because we're still EU citizens at the moment. Until this Brexit thing's over, we've got just as much right as anybody else. With the COVID, there's no special treatment at the moment. We're not in no lockdown. The regions here in Murcia region are open, and we can still travel around. Obviously we've got restrictions, but other than that, Bridget, I hope that's answered your questions, so we can move on a little bit more now. Okay, so we made the offer. Right, the Spanish banks. Now, obviously here on Camposol, we've only got one bank, so they didn't have much option, but down in the town, I think you got Bankia, Santander
and Sabadell, is it?
Something like that, yeah. But they chose whatever. And we talked about in the first episode about the bank, that they were very helpful. Obviously they will try and sell you things like any other bank will, but they weren't forceful or nothing. And they're quite happy with that. And also most of the bank staff do speak English, don't they?
Yeah, we've never had any
issues
at all.
So that's really helpful. Okay, so we talked about the NIE. The solicitor, this is something that we talked about just before we come on air. Now, when I went to our solicitors, we had it under the impression that they had to be a power of attorney. But talking to Steve and Mandy, they had an option. They could either do it themselves. Is that right, guys?
Yes. Yeah. The solicitor did ask about she wasn't sure if we was living here full time, like renting full time and staying here full time. Because we didn't need for them to be our power of attorney. But if you're not here and you're buying a property and you're in the UK or wherever and you're buying a property in Spain, it probably is useful to give the solicitor power of attorney because of all the paperwork that you have to sign. And if you're not here in person, it can delay the process by quite a lot. So most people, if you're not in Spain, they would give the solicitor power of attorney.
And the other thing with the solicitors was that you actually had like a package deal, like a one set price. So, you know, it's possible that there could be more further searches, but you haven't got that right. I think when we took our solicitors, there was a search, apparently something to do with our swimming pool, wasn't on the
dates?
No, come on, let's think about it. Land registry, that's it. It wasn't on the land registry, so they had to do that. But obviously they took it off the sellers anyway, so we didn't have to pay for that. But I think when you do obviously ask for recommendations for solicitors, and obviously have a good chat with them. Because sometimes you don't have a chat with them, they won't tell you about what's on offer really. So that's good that they got a package deal. But I'm not going to tell you what that is because it will differ from region to region around Spain. And there's no point me asking them what the costs are, because it will differ. But I think when you're buying property, always go over the top. If you're buying a property for 40,000 or whatever, always put another extra 20,000 on it. I mean, it's obviously a bonus after you moved in if you got extra money, because somebody go out and spend it all on furniture.
Yeah, they might do.
You know, or new kitchen. So I'm hoping you got some money left over. Okay, the next thing, we covered the deposit, because the property that they bought, they put the deposit down. We talked about wills. Now, this is something I know when we was here, we was told we had to do, but it's not compulsory, is it?
No, we was told by the solicitor that they could arrange a will for us, and the reason being that in Spain, if you haven't got a will, and you say, you know, you both of you suddenly pass away or what have you, it's a minefield for the people you leave behind to actually take ownership, really, I say, of the property. So it's best to actually have a will here in Spain, so that it's, you know, it's all down, it's all in black and white, basically, telling them who actually, you know, beneficiaries are, because otherwise, as they say, it's an absolute minefield. It can go, actually, I've been told it can go on for months, if not years, to finding out who actually is the next of kin and what have you. So to have a will is not mandatory, but it's best to have it in place.
And who's dealing with the will? Was that lady, or was it?
No, we've got a solicitor.
Got a solicitor,
Yes,
I mean, this is nothing about making sure you get everything done legal, guys. Because if somebody in the back street says, "Oh, I can do a will for 25 quid," because here it's got to be translated in Spanish and English, and they got to tell you, obviously in your mother tongue, obviously English. So whoever is dealing with it can speak good English, because you need to understand the ins and outs of the will. But also, I'm right in thinking it covers you in the UK as well, doesn't it?
No. The Spanish will only cover you in Spain. As Sean just said, it is in Spanish and it is translated into English. It's only the Spanish version that is legal over here. The English version is only for information. But as I say, it is, you know, they are basically the same, whether what language you're looking. But the Spanish authorities would only look at it in Spanish. The other thing I'd like to say is that I was also told, we're in the UK, I don't know about other countries, but in the UK you can leave your assets to your dog or your cat. Or bird. Or what animal you may have. In Spain, that is something you're not allowed to do. You can only give it to another human being. And it would be, you know, your next of kin.
With the will, if they're saying it's only valid in Spain and you need a will for the UK, I would assume you'd only need a UK will if your beneficiaries are in the UK. Yeah. If you're living in Spain and you have no relatives anywhere and you've only got, say, you and your partner or children in Spain, you won't need a UK will as well, you'll just need your Spanish will.
But you haven't finished that yet, have you?
No, we just started the process of that, so they need all our passport, NIEs, our family details, who our beneficiaries are. So we need to see who's been naughty and who's nice, really.
The actual information they need is very similar to your
NIE.
The NIE number, so yes, we've got all that.
And other than that, since we did the last episode a couple of weeks ago, you've been back to the property that you're buying. One, you did a quick video just to refresh your minds, but also to see what stuff you need, because somebody's going out tomorrow to buy some furniture.
We actually went back and had a look round, me and Steve. Steve took some video, because the lady that's leaving the property is going into rented accommodation, so she's going into furnished accommodation. So it was literally, we did say we'll go around and see what furniture we wanted to keep and what we didn't. But what we've decided is if we just keep everything they need to leave, because it's quite difficult, because she's an elderly lady, of getting furniture moved. So we've just said, like, leave everything, and then what we don't want, we'll just get the charity shops to come and collect. So rather than give them a lot of hassle of moving all the stuff out, we're quite happy to sort of get the charity shops round and pick stuff up. But it's good to have an idea of what we need to get and what we don't need to get.
And the other good bit of news is your move-in dates moved forward a bit now, isn't it?
Yes.
At the moment, the move date has been moved forward by a week, but it was also when we went round to see the property, it could be moved forward even more. So, fingers crossed, we could be there
within the month.
Within the next 3 weeks to 4 weeks.
Yeah. But other than that, they're still sort of in the process. They're still enjoying their holiday period, still going out, eating and visiting places. Obviously, with the COVID, it does restrict us a little bit, but still enjoying the weather. But even though today we've got no sun.
No, it's a bit cloudy today.
Yeah,
we don't mind that.
But you're still coping with the.
We're still going in the
weather.
pool.
Yeah, it's maybe cloudy, but it's not cold.
No.
So that's it for now, guys. The next episode will be in a couple of weeks' time. We'll see how things are going. So, as I always say, got to keep watching. Mandy and Steve will see you now. Say goodbye.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.